Evening and welcome to this regular session of the Grant County Council. I'll call this meeting to order. Tonight the prayer will be led by Mr. Warbach, with the Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Mr. Poling. If you would stand.
Please join me in prayer. Lord, we thank you for this evening. Thank you for this body of elected officials that seek to do good for our community. Be with us as we need tonight. We ask for your wisdom, ask you to be in the decisions we make. Guide and direct us, we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, gentlemen. If you would, call the roll.
Scott, Connor.
I did have conversations with Connor. He would not be here this evening.
Hicks,
Here.
Rohrbach,
Yes, I'm here. Speak up, will you?
I will.
Thank you.
Poling,
Here.
Lemming,
Here.
Middlesworth.
Here. We do have a quorum. The next item on the agenda is the auditor's report.
You have the general fund balance at your tables, plus the health insurance balance, which is still good, all is well. The only thing I did want to say tonight was I'd like to introduce my chief deputy. This is Corey Anderson. I've kind of neglected that the last few months, sorry. And that's it for me tonight.
Is there any questions or comments regarding the auditor's report? If there's no questions or comments, we'll move on to the approval of the minutes from the regular session of February the 15th, 2023. Is there any corrections or errors that need to be addressed on the minutes? If there's no corrections, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I would make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Second.
I have a motion from Mr. Lemming, a second from Mr. Poling to approve the Grant County Council regular session minutes of February the 15th, 2023. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved. We'll move on to the new business. First item under the new business, item A, County Commissioner Mark Bardsley with an additional appropriation regarding the opioid settlement fund, as well as a transfer of appropriations within the general fund. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. How are you this evening?
Okay.
First on the request for the opioid settlement funds, Marion Health has had the opportunity from the state to apply for a grant that would, if accepted, would bring in between $500,000 and $700,000 to assist with personnel dealing with substance abuse situations. As a part of that grant, they have to have buy-in from the county. And so they've asked us to be that supporting agency. Minimum buy-in is $1,000. They would always appreciate more in a matching grant type of situation, but we wanted to refrain from using any more of the opioid money until the committee that Judge Spitzer is working on has the opportunity to forecast where they see that going in the next few years. It's over an 18-year period that we'll be receiving most of that $2 million. We do have process going on for additional opioid funds from CVS, Walgreens, Walmart, and a couple of others. So we may see some more money coming into the county, again, specifically to deal with the opioid issues. But we're asking for that buy-in from the council for $1,000 to match the work that the Marion Health will be doing.
What, Angie, this is a question for you. I couldn't recall. Has this one been advertised?
It has not. It will need to be advertised.
Okay, so this would be to approve the $1,000 additional appropriation pending advertisement from the opioid settlement funds, and we've created an account for that?
Yeah, it's the opioid unrestricted fund 1238.
Okay. So any questions or comments? If there's no questions or comments, I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I make a motion to, I guess, pass the, Mr. Bargesley's additional appropriation for $1,000.
Second.
I have a motion from Mr. Lemming, a second from Mr. Poling, to approve the additional appropriation within the opioid settlement fund 1238 pending advertisement in the amount of $1,000. Any other questions or comments from the members? Public input? Roll call, please.
Lemming,
Yes.
Poling,
Yes.
Hicks,
Yes.
Rohrbach,
Aye.
Migglesworth.
Yes. Motion carries.
Thank you. Our transfer request, you see on that page, we're asking for a transfer of $23,400 from the Social Security Medicare to the dispatch towers. And you see there in the narrative that this line item was used to pay for fencing around the towers, public safety towers. It was selected for use by the auditor for consistency purposes. And so we would ask that that money be transferred, and then the repair and building to contractual services and preventative maintenance to contractual services, both at $50,000. And that is to allow for a working balance. We already will be coming back for this contractual service area. Just this beginning of the week, the annual service fee for the agreement for the cameras in the Sheriff's Department, that came in at $50,000 this week, an invoice, so we will be having to come back and ask for an appropriation for that at a later time. But the idea is to bring our contractual services up to a balance that is out of the red.
Any questions or comments regarding the transfers?
So I guess I'm confused. We don't have enough, we didn't budget enough in contractual services. We're moving money from one to another to pay for it.
We're doing that instead of asking for appropriation right now. We'd rather transfer money than ask for appropriation, but we are gonna have to come back and ask for an appropriation because of that $50,000 agreement for the camera service.
And that comes out of your budget, not the sheriff's budget?
Yes, that's the way we agreed to it last year.
Is that not part of IT either? I mean, that's still under your umbrella?
It's under our umbrella. I mean, in the future, we can move that for the '24 budget into IT if we want to.
I'm just questioning it. I'm trying to get it in my head.
That's where we paid for it last year.
Okay.
I'll have to go back and look at my notes. I know we talked quite a bit about all that.
Oh, that was months worth of discussion.
If there's no questions regarding the transfers, I entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I'd make a motion to approve as presented the changes from, I'm not gonna read all these accounts.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion from Mr. Lemming, a second from Mr. Hicks to approve the following transfers within the Grant County Commissioners. Social Security, Medicare, to dispatch towers in the amount of $23,400, repair and building to contractual services in the amount of $50,000, repair and maintenance to contractual services in the amount of $50,000. Any questions or comments? Angie, you have everything you need?
I did.
Public input? Roll call, please.
Lemming,
Yes.
Hicks,
Yes.
Rohrbach,
Aye.
Poling,
Yes.
Middlesworth.
Yes. Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Next item under new business, item B, County Highway Department, David White's fill-in.
Yeah. David's at road school, getting smart. Bridge, additional for Bridge 789 is a community crossing grant. It's on 10th Street Bridge that's in construction right now. This was a grant match that was awarded last year. So we need to appropriate or additional $370,000 to match that grant.
And the funding's coming from,
Q 1135.
yeah. The request is for an additional appropriation within the cumulative bridge, 1135, in the amount of 370,000. That's gonna go into bridge number 789. That's for that community crossing grant.
Mhm.
Is there any questions or comments from the members? If there are none, I'd entertain a motion. Angie, this one's advertised.
Yes.
Mr. President, I make a motion to accept the transfer as presented.
Additional.
Additionally,
I have a motion from Mr. Lemming, a second from Mr. Higgs to approve the additional appropriation within cumulative bridge 1135 in the amount of 370,000 for bridge number 789. Any other questions or comments from the members?
that's a reimbursing fund, right?
Well,
It's a
it's
50-50 match.
Right, so that's what I was, okay, gotcha.
Any other questions from the members? Yeah, it's always good to use those community crossing grants to maximize what we can do, for sure. Public input. Roll call, please.
Lemming,
Yes.
Hicks,
Yes.
Rohrbach,
Aye.
Poling,
Yes.
Middlesworth.
Yes. Motion carries.
All right, so I want to skip over the first one in 1176 and go to the transfer from calcium chloride to buyout days. We had originally asked for 5,000 transfer, but we've had two foremen that have just retired, and we didn't see one of them coming. And we're requesting $20,100 from calcium chloride to the buyout days.
Did you say 20,000?
$20,100.
Angie, you okay with that?
Yes.
So it'd be 20,100 from calcium chloride to buyout days. Is there any questions or comments? If there are none, I'd entertain a motion. Not the fund supports that, I'm sure.
We won't get shorted when we get snow again.
No, we're almost full on salt and sand again, so we should be good till the next season, so after the first of next year.
Mr. President, I make a motion to transfer the 20,100 from the calcium chloride to the buyout days as presented.
Second.
I have a motion from Mr. Lemming, a second from Mr. Poling to approve the following transfer within the Grant County Highway. 20,100 from calcium chloride to buyout days in the 1176. Any other questions or comments from the members? Public input? Roll call, please.
Fleming,
Yes.
Poling,
Yes.
Hicks,
Yes.
Gorbach,
Aye.
Middlesworth.
Yes. Motion carries.
All right, so the last one we have is, out of 1176, the additional $43,680 for an additional road foreman position. If awarded this position, we will do away with a truck driver position, which is $38,480. If awarded this position, perf, longevity, and taxes will be transferred at a later date if needed. The new fund will be created if this request is approved. For many, many years, we've talked about having two road foremen, one for the east side and one for the west side. We've got 800 miles of roads. It's always been tough for one guy to oversee all that. And with the retirement of our one road foreman we have, we thought now would be a good time to possibly have two. So that's what we're coming for.
You got plenty of truck drivers now? Cause before
Well,
they
they-
was complaining you couldn't get enough truck drivers.
They will be working foremen, so if we need them in a truck, they'll be in a truck. And we currently have one truck driver, position open besides the one we're gonna do away with.
So it'd be a $9,200 increase.
Correct.
Longevity, we have to base longevity on, correct?
It would depend on who we put in there. If the person didn't have 10 years yet, then he wouldn't get, or 5 years, he wouldn't get longevity, so. But we've not had we've had a truck driver vacancy all year already, so.
And then does the funding support the additional employee, or additional pay, I guess, not employee, but the insurance would be a wash. So you're really just talking the money.
You're trying to do away with the truck driver to add a foreman?
Are you still short a truck driver?
Ideally, I think they would like to keep the truck driver's position, but this was the way we thought we could get it done without a big increase in our costs.
What about the equipment operator? It says you have 3 openings, truck driver, equipment operator, road foreman.
Correct. We haven't filled the.
So all 3 of them are open at this point.
Correct.
But you're negotiating, you don't want to give one up, you want to add pro money.
Correct.
But your one foreman's retired, right? So
Yes.
you'll have his pay, right?
We actually have 2 foremen that have retired. We've moved an equipment operator up to foreman, that's where the equipment operators
Okay.
open.
I will say, the highways funding's outside the general fund when it comes to salaries, so, we have done things a little different in the past regarding the highway. And maybe the empty positions would probably more pay for the $9,200. I don't know how long they've been vacant. Just something to think about.
Me personally, I probably would like to kind of take a minute to think about that. I'm not against it, I just like to be able to look at the numbers and look at stuff on paper before I did that. I mean, you're already advertising for all 3 positions, right? Correct?
We haven't advertised for the second road foreman's position yet. Like I said, it just came vacant last Thursday, so, or Friday, so. We've had, like I said, we just had 2 foremen that they're retired. One of them came as a shock, so the other one gave us plenty of notice.
That's a whole different detail, but it is kind of intriguing, I guess, to me, as to how they could arise at that point.
So I'll just clarify the request again. The request would be to eliminate a truck driver's position, create a road foreman, which would be 2 road foremans in total. And, instead of being the 38,480, you'd go to 43,680. And this road foreman would be a working foreman. So
Correct.
he'd have CDLs,
Correct.
he would be. And you have 3 vacancies right now, and they've been empty for how long?
So the truck driver, we've been vacant since last October. We hired 2 in October and we got quit like within a week. So that's been open since last October and we haven't filled it yet this year.
It's like 5 months.
Yeah, typically, I would be against doing anything as far as salaries goes until we do budget time. I know how we're all competing for the same people working,
Right.
and this would give, somebody a little more incentive. Why it's nothing compared to what you could go out and, be hired as a CDL truck driver over the road and make a lot more than that. We all know that. So I would be in favor of this request, just because I know what climate you're in. But typically, I'd rather see it especially from the other departments that are outside of, highway funding. I'd rather see them wait till budget time.
Gotcha.
Is there any other questions or comments from the members?
So are you tabling it, or are you gonna ask for a vote, or what are you thinking?
I would entertain a motion. So whatever motion you would like to make.
Fine.
We could wait till next month, however you want to make the motion. Or if there's no motion, then they can make the request again for next month, or however they see fit. So is there a motion? I'm not hearing a motion.
Not a problem. We'll be back next month.
Okay?
Thank you.
Yep, thanks. Next item under new business, item C, County Recorder Kathy Foy with an additional appropriation within the perpetuation fund, as well as a salary limits amendment request.
Hello, I'm asking for a salary amendment for my first deputy position and an additional appropriation of $2,500 to the salary line in my perpetuation fund. Right now, that position is $29,081, so I would like to raise it to $31,081 and pay the difference out of my perpetuation fund for that position, including the FICA and the PERF. So it'd be a total, like $2,000 to up the salary, $200 for FICA and $300 for PERF. A total of $2,500. Across the board in the other offices, my first deputy position and my chief deputy position are like the lowest paid. So it's hard to keep them when they can go to another office and make more money as the same position, or even get any applicants. Because when I posted this position, I had 3 people from the county say, well, what's it pay? And then they said, well, no, I don't want to, it's a pay cut. So because most of the first deputies in the county, they either are making anywhere from $30,000 to $33,000. There's even second deputies in the county that are making $30,000 to $31,000. And this position is only 29, so I would be willing to pay from my perpetuation fund so they can up it for them.
So the request is for $2,500 to be paid in, divided up between salaries, FICA, perf, which would be paid out of the perpetuation fund, which is a fee-driven fund,
Yes,
which is outside, the county's general fund. Is there, this qualifies as one of the items that can be used for, correct?
yes,
And that fund has more than enough money to support this, correct?
way more. Plenty.
And then is this something where, for the budget process for next year, would you continue to do the same practice then?
Yes, and then if you guys decide to give a raise across the board, that would up it, and then I would keep paying the additional 2,000.
Any questions or comments from the members?
Now, how does that get tracked? From the auditor's office, how do we get tracked that what she just said stays the same?
I would just do like I do every other department. I mean, it wouldn't be any different than anybody else.
I don't understand how it tracks. Is there like a contract somewhere, you make notes?
No, it's not a contract, it's just in the it's just part of the salary ordinance, I mean,
Well, I don't know, I don't see it. So when you pull that up, you see that?
she wouldn't see it, no. not the payroll.
So
It would be
when
part of the salary ordinance.
I'm assuming, but I would need to get with Angie, when I do my payroll sheet for the pay period, there's a spot for what's coming out of the general fund and then the perpetuation fund, so I would just have this positions, up in the general fund than what I'm paying down in the,
So there's nothing in the perpetuation fund that says we can only allow a certain percentage to go to salary?
No.
so she'll,
We've paid total salaries out of the perpetuation fund in the past,
yeah.
total salaries. Actually, every employee in the recorder's office at one time, besides the recorder, was paid out of the perpetuation fund. So there is nothing to limit that.
As far as in the budget process, how you would, put it in our budget book, you put the $2,500, in a separate column to show that that person's getting that, just like you do every.
Right, we have several departments that have employees that are paid out of multiple areas, so this isn't any
And
different.
as far as the raises, when we calculate the raises, I guess this is a question, is it the total salary when you do it 3% or whatever, is it the total salary of the general fund or is it the total of?
Most departments, what I do is take the total salary combined
Okay,
and then do the increase based off of that. Some funds, will absorb the increase.
yeah, that's right.
A lot of times it's based on just the general fund, but a lot of times it's, like with the assessor, she has multiple areas. The $2,000 that's paid out of sales disclosure fund, that always stays consistent. The raise is added to either the general or reassessment, depending on where the majority of their salary comes from. So it's just,
Okay.
it's different. It's,
Any other questions or comments from the members? If there are none, I'd entertain a motion.
Go ahead. You can make a motion, aren't you?
All right, I'll make the motion to pass.
You're making the motion to?
Yeah.
Okay. To, the additional appropriation from the perpetuation fund, 1189, in the amount of $2,500.
Second.
I have a second. I have a motion from Mr. Poling, a second from Mr. Rohrbach to approve the additional appropriation of $2,500 within the perpetuation fund Salaries 2,000, FICA 200, PERF 300. Any other questions or comments? This is advertised, correct?
Yes.
Public input. Roll call, please.
Poling,
Aye.
Rohrbach,
Aye.
Hicks,
Yes.
Lemming,
Yes.
Middlesworth.
Yes. And that includes the salary ordinance amendment.
Well, you didn't put that as part of your motion, so you're probably gonna need to do that separate.
How do you want the motion worded? Amend the salary ordinance to
Amend the salary
reflect-
ordinance to include the $2,000 increase to this position paid out of the,
Perpetuation.
Is there a motion?
I would make that motion.
I'll second.
Perpetuation.
I have a motion from Mr. Lemming, a second from Mr. Poling to amend the salary ordinance to reflect the $2,500 within the perpetuation fund and the general fund, 2,000 for salaries, FICA 200 per 300.
one question, effective when?
When's the next pay period?
They get paid Friday,
Yeah, we
so
get paid Friday,
next
the beginning of the
28?
pay period
28, 27?
would be the 27th to begin, or you can retro it back to the 13th. To begin on the 13th, which would have been Monday,
I would just begin it at the next pay.
At the-
Is that the easiest?
whichever, I don't care,
The 27th,
the
right?
27th.
Effective
so
the
when I do the
27th.
payroll the next Friday, it'll be on there. And you'll have a breakdown for me on,
Yes, I will.
you're the best.
Okay, any questions? Public input? Roll call, please.
Lemming,
Yes.
Poling,
Yes.
Hicks,
Yes.
Rohrbach,
Aye.
Middlesworth.
Yes.
Thank you, my first deputy, thanks you.
I should have added a couple words there in that motion, made that easier. Next item, under new business, item D, county emergency medical service. And Dwayne won't be with us this evening, but John's here.
You got me.
And there's an additional appropriation or possibly a transfer of appropriation regarding the general fund. Good
I
evening.
don't think there's an additional actually submitted or advertised. I think that's what, and I was gone last week, so I'm a little bit out of the loop. I know what these are for. However,
Harry, you want this?
he did. Oh, no, I got that.
Okay.
I got that. I thought you said Harry wrote this. A lot of people refer to him as Harry. He's got two groups of people. That's his real first name.
Oh, okay.
Okay, he looked at me like
I'm
that.
learning something new.
Okay. This is all to do with migrating towards the new building, at least the crews at this point. We have 4 supervisors that are full-time and another 20-some, give or take, that fill in when the supervisors aren't working. It's just for them to at least migrate to using that new building finally, fully. It's not ready for the office staff. I'm not sure where we're gonna put everybody, but it is at least gonna put the crews out there and get them done. It's in light of the, winter preparedness, plan that we were working on. We talked about emergency workers possibly having to stay and sleep. This will go a lot further with that too. I mean, kitchen being ready, the crew, it says crew chairs, that means, recliners in the break room. Just a place for them to stay while they're working, and then when we have that emergency, if there's a place where they need to stay over, there's places for them.
Yeah, so as many of you know that with COVID funds, built the new building where the idea was to move the EMS, and it's been lacking for some time now. It's supposed to be finished when
It's a finished building, it's not, it won't accommodate the ambulance crews and the office staff.
Just the building we added on to?
You added on, yes. It was, and if you look, and I don't know if it's wrote down anywhere, I know I saw the plans, it was built for the ambulance bays, but our part was, that said PPE storage on it. It did not say office, it said PPE storage. If you're gonna build a building for storage, I don't know why you build a kitchen and a bathroom and a break room, but that's what it said on the plans.
Yeah,
It's small.
yeah, I sat in many of those meetings and I know, the building you're in is not very efficient when it comes to energy and.
Oh, I'm sure it's not.
No, I think that, it's long overdue to get some new furniture, and obviously the chairs and the blinds and refrigerator, table, microwave, some cameras, mounts, office chairs, and then, let's see, the service window, which the total request is for $5,019.81.
And the service windows is, necessary because it wasn't built ADA compliant.
Yeah.
So if the office staff is out there, including myself, if a patient comes in to pay their bill or go over something, they can't, and they're in a wheelchair, they can't even get in.
Yeah.
So they'd have to go through the garage area and then the service window would accommodate that.
And that building is actually ADA, most of the doors are ADA
My
compliant.
building that I'm in now is because it was a nursing home.
Yeah.
It was the county home,
Well,
but
I'm
the
saying,
new one is not.
The main walking door is the problem.
Yes,
Which they was
yes.
gonna change that out in the last, they never got to it, I guess.
I don't think so.
So,
It's not. And there's not a place, if a patient came in, there's not a countertop, there's nothing there.
yeah.
So we thought with the service window that goes out into the bay, it kind of solves two problems.
And this has all, been, the commissioners have approved
The
it?
commissioners asked for this. You were involved because you talked about my spending habits.
I'm sorry, is that good or bad?
You wanna come up to the?
Yeah.
You told me to act like it was my money.
Yeah, I did.
That's my husband, not listening.
The commissioners supported this. It was the furniture that they needed, right? This is all for furniture. I'm
Except for that
bringing
service
all this
window.
up.
Yeah.
And, but I do have some questions about the building itself. Just listening, not ADA, I'm trying to figure all that out, why that wasn't done at the time, because this is a brand new building.
I'm gonna guess because it was said it's for storage.
Well,
They put it forward as storage, so it didn't have to be
The
ADA.
building's set up for ADA except the main door.
Okay,
So I thought, in the last months ago, probably longer than that, I don't know how many months.
You thought they were gonna do that front door bigger, is that?
There was
Yeah,
talk
that's
that
news to me.
that front door was
Okay.
gonna be changed.
well, Dwayne sent us an email asking for support, and we gave him the support for them to come to you.
It could be done.
That's
This
what we're.
original contract, when we added on this building, did it say it had to be ADAD where the contractor didn't do it?
It was one of those,
I doubt it.
time crunch.
It was built for storage with COVID money.
That was the only question I had.
That's what it
But-
said on the.
But it was Dwayne's request to us, and we
Okay.
supported
Okay,
that.
I see, I
Okay.
see. Just so we can at least get these crews out there, get them out there.
Yes.
Is the new building add-on gonna be big enough for you now, all of it?
It's gonna be tight, Chuck. We got 8 people, 8 desks, there's 4, it's gonna be tight. Now, our building, and I don't know, I'm getting ready to invite you all out. We're gonna have what we call a skills day. We're obligated to provide continuing education to our EMTs. And I thought it'd be a good opportunity, you guys as well, to see what we do just otherwise. There's 3 hallways to this former nursing home. There's a north, an east, and I forget, there's 3 hallways. Oh, west. Most of the north and east ones are used for storage, and it's not just ours. The commissioners have things out there, the auditor's office, the health department has 2 rooms, the assessor's office has 2 rooms. What's nice about it is these are rooms that were set up for, nursing home residents, single or quad, there's double rooms, quad rooms. It's lockable. Rhonda's, the assessor's brother, Gary, started that process, and he's got his own lock, his own keys. He puts his stuff in there. Of course, we have to be open for him to get in, but it makes, the treasurer's office has 2 rooms the size of this area full of stuff. 2 huge rooms. But they can be, they're secure, they're dry, they're climate controlled in a way. We don't heat them, but they're not, there's also bathrooms down there, so we don't let them freeze. It's something for you guys to see. You really should see it. It's a shame, really. We've been told, I mean, it was a very nice building, and it could have been kept nicer, being kept all these years. But Amoresco, is that right? Is that a right word? Okay. They said that we wouldn't be able to build one for like that.
Wouldn't be able to what?
Wouldn't be able to replicate that building for what we just spent on the
I
other
guess
one.
the bottom line is, it's the commissioner's responsibility for
Yes.
the buildings.
Oh, yeah.
And, I sat in the meetings on that EMS, addition, and the idea was for the ambulance services to be moved in.
It was,
And
yes.
along with all the offices, so, they're working on internet. I know they've
They are.
put a generator in there.
They
So-
did. I'm not sure it's operational yet, but it is set in the ground.
Yeah, so obviously the ambulances are being stored in. some-
Oh, yeah, and that's, the bays they're
And,
great.
So this request for the equipment is, I'm fine with, to get that completed.
Can you give me some idea of how you want me to go about it? Do you want us to transfer and use our own money and then possibly have to come back if those funds run low? Or how, I
I
don't,
think that'd probably be the best
Okay.
thing.
I mean, him and I didn't cross paths, me being gone and him leaving this week, so I didn't know what the deal was, but we can definitely do that. And then if it would run one of our funds that we'd already funded for this year short, we could easily,
Yeah, so I think would be probably the will of the council to.
Okay.
Go ahead and use the funding that you currently have, we can make the transfers. And now that we know if it's spent on these items, and you come back at a later date. and
Sure.
Do an additional appropriation. Do we need to make that a motion of some type?
and I guess we can address where to transfer it to. I don't really have a building fund, but I guess it could be office
Well, it's
supplies.
equipment, supplies.
Okay, we can address that then. Okay, yeah, we'll figure it out and we'll write a letter out. I don't think you need a motion for that, that's fine. Just so I have some guidance. And I will be giving you that invite. You guys need to see what's out there and what's gonna need to be done. If you're planning on eliminating that building completely, there's gonna be a lot of things you're gonna have to find a place for, so it's a good idea for you to see it and see what you're up against. You've been out there.
Again, that's the commissioner's wheelhouse.
It is true, but I thought it would be nice for you to all see it and see what you're up against.
Yeah.
Because they can make any decision they want, but you guys have to finance it.
Yeah, that's true.
Mhm.
So I appreciate you.
I've been around for a while. Okay, thank
Any
you.
other questions?
Any more questions?
No, but thank you for answering crew chairs and service window for me.
Yeah.
I don't know how written
Well,
up
I
days.
had that pre-asked to me, what are crew chairs and what are office chairs?
Yeah.
And that's what it means, they're 12-hour shifts. You got some employees coming in from their other job that need to sleep in between runs, so it's a good thing for them. All right, thanks.
Thank you. And maybe that EMS, maybe it needs to be built on again. I don't know. Anyway, anybody else have any new business? We'll move move on to the old business, Marion Public Library Board appointment. Turn it over to the nominating committee chairman, Mr. Wending.
Thank you, sir. We had just the one person, I believe, that applied for this, and we've already, she's already served some time on that, and that's Cindy Ketchum. I don't know if you guys got this in your email or not, but there's a nice letter. She does a good job of keeping us informed every 3 or 4 months. And it would be our thought process to go ahead and reappoint her as our advocate there.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
I have a motion from Mr. Rohrbach, a second from Mr. Hicks to reappoint Cindy Ketchum to the Marion Public Library Board. Any other questions or comments from the members? Public input? Roll call, please.
Rohrbach,
Aye.
Hicks,
Yes.
Poling,
Yes.
Lemming,
Yes.
Hillsworth.
Yes. Motion carries. Is there any other? I guess the only thing else I want to mention to the members about old business is, we approved, at the last meeting, the amendment to the contract with the sheriff's union, and it's in your packet as well, a signed copy. The other thing that we kind of forgot, I guess, that will be in discussions, longevity. When it comes to the captain's position within the jail, we didn't create, we don't have no base to go off longevity. So that's either something we can discuss next month, or possibly the attorney within the contract, the sheriff's union at the next negotiation. We'll look at the contract to see how that's spelled out. But I just wanted to make a note that that's in your packet. And then also, I think that's all the old business. Is there any committee reports?
You want to go over this? Just a reminder of this?
I didn't even know that out.
That's,
lit.
yeah. That's
So-
next month?
Huh?
Next month?
Yeah, I'm on it. So the other thing I want to talk about, Darren Bates, who's the consultant for the tax structure of the lit specifically, has reached out to me and has some concerns from the state that there's, possibility that we may lose the lit if we don't make some changes. And I have added him to the agenda for next month. His recommendation would be to have 3 council members and other units of government to have a pre-meeting, so to speak. Because any changes to the lit structure will have to go through the tax council, and so that takes, Marion, Gas City, and the other units. And this is one of those that, again, from Mr. Bates, that is gonna have to be done. It's not a question of if, it's a have to. So we're gonna have to have all the units on board with whatever recommendations this body would make. Or, I guess the other bodies can make a recommendation as well, but typically they do come out of this body. So I just wanted to make a note that, that's something, don't be surprised if you start seeing emails from me or communication about lit, because there's a lot of moving pieces to that puzzle. Any questions or comments you'd like to make, Angie?
No, at this time, it's not all of lit, it's the property tax replacement portion of the lit. We need to restructure how that's taken care of, because we risk losing that.
It's a big deal too.
Yes.
So, any committee reports? Our next meeting will be Wednesday, April the 19th, 2023. Meeting adjourned.
Pretty nondescript meeting, less than an hour.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Tell them, Terry, good shape,
We're
good
getting out of here
money.
pretty quick. Goodness.
That didn't take care of it.
Everything.